The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that, if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking.
But you're so high.
Oh man, you know I ain't high.
But you're so high.
Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then.
But you're so high.
You ought to be ashamed of
Stay
yourself.
drunk all
Oh,
the
come on now,
time.
you all don't feel like that.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome back. All right, we're doing the build video. I haven't built a quad in at least, I don't know, a week. So here we go. This was supposed to be the Armaton Fury Custom. And I'm still bitching about that, yes. The fucking frame hasn't come yet because apparently it's hanging out with the Holy Grail and it's very difficult to get to the United States. So anyway, we're going to do a Campfire Custom. This is not a normal Campfire frame build. So, because I've already done those. Do I have one hanging around? Yeah, of course I do. I've built so many of those damn things. Sadly, I've sold most of them. But anyhow, here is Goblin. I don't know if you guys remember that one. But I did, this might have been the one I did the build video on. I can't remember. But this is what the Campfire looks like normally. And it come with a nylon printed canopy. Sorry about that. My kid just came out here to tell me my 3D printer fucked up. Love that kid. Anyhow, so this is what a normal Campfire quad frame looks like. This is the Stretch Decks. And that's cool. I love it. I absolutely love the Campfire frames. Next to Mocha, best frame. So this is the canopy. It is nylon. So when you buy the bird, it comes with a nylon canopy, which is really cool because you can dye it. And this is what I was going to do the original in, but we've already done those. So what we're going to do, I printed off a different canopy. And this quad frame is exceptionally difficult to get. I built one for my friend Timber, and we're going to give it an overhaul here in a second. But this is what the canopy looks like for that bird. Okay, it's a falcon, some German name. I can't remember what the name of it is. But anyhow, really hard to find. But you can get the canopy off of Thingiverse. So I printed out a canopy, and we're going to use it on the Campfire. How cool is this? So what we're going to do, I think, is, and this makes it trickier to build. It's a lot less canopy, but again, it's a little bit trickier to build. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the canopy off. If you see how this works, I'm going to mount the ESC under the canopy, then we're going to push the canopy down on top, and then we're going to put the the flight controller in there. It's going to be nice and neat, cool. And we're going to put the motors on. Bam! It's going to be really, really cool. So that's what we're going to do with that. We're going to cut some screws down on length. That's all good. We're going to use the triple B motors. 3B Hobby as in boy. These I just did a review on earlier today. Very, very fucking cool. So we're going to put those on. Hopefully I don't have to extend the wires. That's going to tick me off royally because these motors look absolutely phenomenal. I think they're going to be great. Like I said in the video earlier, they have a little Bardwell nylon skirt under here, so if your screws are too long, it will stop them from shorting out your motor, which is great. And they actually come with long screws. God bless you guys. That's freaking awesome. And our wires are plenty long, and the screws are plenty long. Oh, heaven. This is going to be an easy, easy build. Now, what we're going to use is we're going to use the Dow RC flight controller all-in-one. This is the one that has the built-in power distribution board that my good friend Arby gave me, Mr. Arby down in Oklahoma, over in Oklahoma. And I've been wanting to use this board for a while, but everything I've tried to put it in, this board is too big because of these corners. Good board, but that's a problem. So we're going to use that. And we're going to use a 30th anniversary is this 35 amp or 30 amp? Fuck me, I can't remember. I don't know. It's in the description. It's enough. But we're going to put this underneath this, okay? So here's the problem with using the 30th anniversary ESC. If you're mounting it to anything, you almost always have to use nylon screws because, check this shit out. This is bad, bad voodoo right here. If you take your meter, put it on continuity, and you go in see the ground around the post, that's going to be connecting to your frame if you're using metal screws. And we're going to go to the positive pad Oh, they changed it. They changed it. How cool. I've used these before, and the positive was actually on that side. I stand corrected. It should go to ground. Perfect. Perfect. Never mind then. I was going to warn you guys. A while back, I was using these, and it literally had from positive pad to the ground lugs, it had a direct short. So that's bad, but this is good. But if you have one of these, double check it. Stick your probe in one of these 4 holes and then stick the other one on the positive side, which is what's got your ammeter on there, and make sure you don't have a direct short to ground. So then what are we using? Yeah, the thing that's cool about this canopy is you do have to use a full-size camera. In this case, I had a Lumineer laying around. We're going to stick that in there. But the camera doesn't actually screw in. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the detent for the camera is right there, and then it locks in right here. So it's actually kind of a floating camera. It's really cool. I'll put a link in the description of where you can download this canopy off Thingiverse. It's very, very cool. I could have done a better job printing it, but you know what? It's on a quad. Fuck it. I got a little bit of layer adhesion issue at the very bottom, so oh well. It's good enough for the girls we date. So we're going to do that. First things first, what we're going to do is we're going to Loctite our motor bolts, okay? I don't always do this. That's if I can find my Loctite. Maybe I won't. Hang on. It's usually on the floor. Fuck it. It's gone. So, very simple. We're not even going to worry about it. Half my birds I Loctite. The other half I don't. And I've never had one come off. A lot of people have, though. So, simple enough. We're going to go through. We're going to see how far these screws go through. Perfect. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And since these are such pretty screws, and thank you. I'm telling you right now, these motors, if they perform as good as I think they will, I'm going to be very happy because they're reasonably cheap. At the time of this video, they're $18.99, I think, at Get FPV, and they're made very well. They're using a bolt instead of an E-clip in the center for the connection, which is great. I like that a lot. And they're not going to be battery vampires, which is really cool. So that's it. Always tighten in a star fashion. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what do I want to do with this? Do I want to braid this underneath? Probably. So that's simple enough. Bring one across the top here, 2 across here, and then we're simply just going to braid them up. Do I want to do it that way this time? Let's see what we end up with. I'm not sure if it's going to be long enough. These wires are plenty long, but when you braid, you cut down on, what is it, 2/3 of wire. And I don't know if that's going to be copacetic or not. Let's find out. We still got it. So what we're going to do is we're going to braid them down that way, bottom side. That way if you have a prop strike, it misses any of the wires. We're going to take some of our silicone tape, keep that there, and we're going to take a surface like this. Good enough. We're going to take a piece of tape about yay long. We're going to cut it. We're going to peel off the plastic. I'll put this in the description too. I love this shit. Love it. Okay, we're going to cut into 4 equal segments. Oops. Semi-equal segments. Alright. You do not have to strap down this side. We're only going to start on this side. And then we're going to wrap it around. And the trick to this stuff is to pull it so it has a little bit of tension. That way it'll stick to itself. Stick it in with your thumbnail. Bam. Done. No electrical tape residue, blah, blah, blah. Looks much cleaner. Nice. So, and then our wires are going to go in just like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3 off screen. Bam. Be right back. All right. The roto twister is refilled, and we have gotten... I took the canopy off, and we've gotten our motor set up on that. So, next thing we need to do, if you guys are using the normal canopy, you don't have to go through half the shit, because this is a little trickier to do. But, you know, otherwise you just build it with the normal canopy, slap the bitch in, bam, done. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to cut these screws. So if you're building a campfire and you're doing it this way, you want to keep the long screws in the flight controller stance, which is the 4 inner, and then the outside stance, we're going to cut these so they don't look stupid. And I'll probably have to get a different cutter to do this. So I will cut these down, or I'll use a Dremel tool to cut them down, whichever happens first, doesn't matter. We don't even need to do that right now. I will cut those down in a bit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to slap in our ESC. Bam! Right there it is. So if you want to use conformal coat, and we're not going to make this waterproof, but we're going to go ahead and just give it a good little, thrashing here. Okay. On the bottom side. So bottom side is here. And we're just going to give it a quickie coat. Like I said, not waterproof necessarily, but we're going to make it water resistant. So if we do land in a puddle or something like that, we're good. Don't douse it. A couple thin layers is fine. And we're going to set that on here. Make sure we're not touching anything critical. Okay. And just to be doubly sure, I'm going to put my meter on continuity because I don't want to mislead you guys. It's like, yeah, do it this way and all your shit blows up. Put it on continuity. We're going to test frame side versus hot side. Nothing. All right. Yep, positive side's good. So that's all we're going to do with that. That's a happy guy. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pick a front, any front. We're going to make this the front. What the hell? Because our connector's already there. And we're going to put our canopy down on that. Now, that connector, is it going to make it? Yes, it will. But, see that connector there? That's our ESC connector. What we're going to do now is I'm going to dig up that cable that comes with the ESC. And I'm going to put that little bitch in there first. Now, yeah, we could mount this sideways or whatever, but I think, I haven't measured any of this shit. I think this is going to work okay. So we're going to go like this. I probably should have, because if this stuff doesn't fit, this entire build video is going to be crap. I'll have to just delete it and you guys will never even know I did it. So we're going to take our cable, we're going to lay it across, and now we're going to put our canopy on. I think this is going to work out really, really well, honestly. Oh yeah, we got it. We'll just push that over. Perfect. Bam, look at that. Nothing but a peanut. Okay. Now, I'm not even going to bother. Well, I think I will. I think we will tin up the battery leads. We can actually wait on the other ones. Perfect. Okay. We can tin those up later, but I do want to tin this up because once I get that ESC in place, or I'm sorry, the flight controller, it might get a little squirrely on how we do this because the flight controller is going to go this way. Let's just check our fit here real quick. Like I said, I'm mixing and matching bits and bobs here, and I want to make sure all this shit works. So far, so good. Oh yeah, that's easy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay. So, I printed this thing at an angle. That's my fault. So, I'm going to have to trim my board out. Yeah, I don't even really have to tin anything before I put this in. So now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go straight onto there. And then we're going to put we're going to put nuts here and standoffs there. Actually, we don't even need to do that. But I am going to put the nuts on this side. So I will be right back. Bam. All right, next thing's next. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and tin this thing up. It's going to be easier to tin outside of the bird then inside of the bird. So what we're going to do, we'll go ahead and stick those on there for now. Oh shit. Drop the vape. Gotta have the vape. Okay. So, you guys have all seen this stuff before. Nothing fancy. But what would be fancy is finding the fucking solder. Ah, such a beautiful day out. It's Friday. Gorgeous. And I cannot find the fucking solder. Why is the solder always gone? Oh, there it is. Okay, right in front of me. So, we're going to go ahead and tin this guy up. Again, as you guys have heard me say a million times before, we could solder the wires from the bottom side, but it's just going to make life more hectic in this case with this particular frame. And I've already got it mounted. So we're just going to solder. Again, do not overheat. Hang on. Got a loose soldering iron. Can't have that. There we go. Okay. You do not need to get perfect adhesion on tinning anything because you're only tinning. You're not worried about getting flow at this point. So we're going to tin this side. I know you can't see this. I'm just tinning the back side where the battery goes. Easy enough. Okay. Bam. Bam. Somebody said I said bam too much. You know, and I do. But, oh well. Alright, so we're going to tin the flight controller as well. We're going to tin battery side, obviously. And we're going to tin where the signal wires go to basically pick out what you use, okay? So, ground 5 volts or 9 volts. We need to change this over. This is your VTX power. 9 volts is hit. I want it to be on 5 volts because we're using a VTX03 on here. So we're going to change that. Take that off right now. Better than blowing up. And then camera 9 volts again on that one. On the camera side, I'm trying to remember, where did that camera go? Ah, so disorganized. What does this camera do? Yeah, doesn't matter. This one I know will go up to whatever. We can leave camera side voltage where it sits, which is 9 volts. And then we need to go ahead and solder this up. So I'm going to tin this up off camera, and then I'm going to show you what we did so you guys know which ones you're going to need. Bam, be right back. All right, and we're done. So here's what we've gotten. All right. We've gotten, I usually tin all my 5 volt pads. Even if I'm not going to use them all, I just do because you never know. There's my smoking hot wife. Say something. Oh, she just grins. Okay. So we got both these grounds here tinned, both the 5 volts here, both the grounds here, the 5 volts here, because see 5 volt and 3 volt, this will be your 3 volt. We do not use Spectrum in this house, so there's the 5 volt there. An RC in, which is going to be your S bus, I'm assuming. I guess. Then we also tinned our signal pads, which motor 1 is here, 2, 3, 4. And let's see, what else did we do? Oh, and our camera garbage. So we got our VTX signal, and we've got our camera signal, okay? So there, that's what we're going to do. And there's your positive and your positive. I'll probably just end up bringing them to 5 volts anyway. So what we're going to do next, just for shits and grins, is we're going to now tin or solder up our motors, okay? A lot of times what I will do is I will twist these just to get a nice... Now notice real quick, I brought the signal wires from the ESC up, and I'm going to lay them over here, so that way when we bring our flight controller down into here, we'll bring them over the top, everything will be copacetic. So, let's see, am I even going to twist these? I don't even think I'm going to bother. So usually what we'll do, I'll just bring them up so they're relatively uniform, and I'll cut them so they're about 2 millimeters higher than the pad. Then I strip 2 mil off with my thumb. So just to give you an idea, I'll go like that. Where's my cutters? And I'll cut it. Let's see if you can see this here. Right about there. Bam. Then I'll take my thumbnail. I'll do that. I'll tin it, and I'll wrap it over. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with all 4 motors. Bam. And we will be right back. Woohoo! All right, and we're back. So we've got our ESCs all soldered up and pretty. Look at that, nice. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mount our board. Bonk. Flip up the hood. We're going to mount the board, the FC, this way. Beauty. Okay. And then we're going to bring our wires over this way. So what we're going to do, let's see, got some nuts. Where'd they go? They're there. Okay. We're going to go ahead and bolt down the front side first. Just like that. Easy. It's like, nothing more exciting than watching some idiot put fucking nuts on. That's okay. You know the way I see it. So I used to tell my son about, he's a guitar player too. I actually went to music school. I'm a robotic engineer that went to music school. And I used to tell my son about, you know, being nervous about playing in front of people. I used to tell him, I said, dude, they didn't buy a ticket. Fuck them. If they don't like it, they can leave. So you guys can, you know, fast forward this bit. I got a wire pinched right there. There we go. Okay, good. So then we're going to take all of these and we're going to cut them eventually. I'm not even going to bolt down the back yet. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take what we've got coming out of the ESC. That color. I have to get the wife here. I think that one's hot. Let's see. The only one we don't really need, if I remember right, is the white. Okay, so black and red are going to be your voltage. So we're going to bring those into any pad. Okay, so we're going to retin. We're going to do a positive and negative over like on the front here or maybe the back to make it cleaner. And we're going to bring the battery voltage because we're going to wire our battery straight into the ESC, not the FC. Maybe if these will reach... Yeah, we'll just put them right here, and that'll be our battery voltage in, and then the other 4. So let's see. Hang on, let me ask the wife real quick. Colorblind. All right, we're back. So the red and black are right here. That's going to be our battery voltage. We're going to wire that straight back to here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Coming in. The white one, if I remember right, is going to be our current sensor, which we're not going to use on the ESC. So we're going to wire those in. Now, with Racer Star, they seem to change every time they ship them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put everything but the white one in. So red and black are going to go back here. All the other colors are going to go to 1, 2, 3, and 4 pads, and then we'll just remap them as we need. So I'll go ahead and solder them in, give them a good twist before you solder them, keep everything nice and neat. Be right back. And we're back. So here's what we have done. We've taken our signal wires and we've put them to each signal pad on the outside. Okay. Then we took our positive and negative. We brought to the positive of here and the negative of here, which is your battery input. The reason I cut this white wire, which is your amperage out of the ESC, is because we already have an ammeter on here, and to be quite honest, I don't use them anyway. So I think amp draw means absolutely nothing to me. I just go out and fly, and that's it. Good enough for the girls we date. So then what we're going to do, took the camera. Here's our camera lead. I cut it. We got positive, negative, and voltage there. We're going to go ahead and trim these up. I did tin them already. Okay. Yellow is usually your signal. Black, reds, you know, you get it. So what we're going to do then is we're going to solder that to a 5-volt supply, or the camera supply down here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but right there where it says camera to the left of my thumb, that's where the yellow wire is going to go, and then we're going to put our voltage. I'm probably just going to bring it over to 5 volts, to be honest. It doesn't really matter to me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to do the same thing with our VTX03. Now with the VTX03, what we're going to do is we're going to take this antenna, throw it away. We're going to take the positive and negative. This is just how I do every bird. I know a lot of people have different methodologies of doing this, but this is how I do it. I strip all 3 of those wires, I tin them up. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. I lose my solder constantly. I need a solder detector. Okay. There we go. And that one there. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to trim these You don't need hellaciously long fucking leads. Okay. There we go. And that's going to go to 5 volts, negative, and VTX signal in. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a pigtail. And some heat shrink. And put it around there. There's my smoking hot wife with a trash can. She ain't going to be able to get through. She's going to cuss at me. There she goes. That's when you know you got it good. Woohoo! When you're building a quad and your old lady's pushing around a trash can, that's when you know you got life going good. Alright, so then we're going to take a piece of heat shrink. Make sure it fits over here. Take it, cut a piece. Put it over the SMA. Put it on here. There we go. Just like that. Woo woo! There's my kid. One of them. Bam, JJ. All right. Go away now. There we go. Woo woo! Go in the house. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and solder this up. So that's going to go to your VTX input. These are going to go positive and negative. We're going to go to your 5 volts, and same deal with the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and solder those up, and I will show you what I did. All right, and we're done. So what we did is we took the camera lead, and we soldered it up to our camera input, which is right there, our positive and our negative. Easy enough. So I'm going to clean that up though, because that looks like shit. And then our VTX, I did the same thing. I brought the VTX signal in over here, but I brought the 5 volts in over here because it was just easier to do. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our SMA and we're going to slide it on through here. Maybe. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and tighten our nut up. And if you want, you can put some thread lock on there, but I am honestly just too fucking lazy right now to find the thread lock. Ah, perfect. Okay, good enough. Now, the only thing left to do, I'm actually going to probably stuff my VTX under here. Believe it or not. And I know a lot of people are going to bitch about that. No ventilation. Trust me. You've got all these props spinning full throttle. Now, this is you're going to have plenty of coolant going when you're flying. Now, when you're sitting at the bench, you may want to turn it off. Okay? That's, you know, put it on 0, but that's okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to wire up our battery lead. And that's what I like about these Racer Star gizmos. You know, people poo-poo Racer Star, but it's a fucking ESC. If it delivers the power, I'm happy. All good. So what we're going to do, they're cheap, and I honestly have not blown one yet. And I use a lot of them. Okay? We're going to go ahead and trim off a couple mil of that. We're going to go ahead and heat those up and tin them. Then we're going to take our connector. Going to rotate these. Now, what you do not really have to tin these because it's going to take so much heat to tin these wires. You're going to see that in a minute. As a matter of fact, I'm going to crank it up. Crank up the juice. Okay. Never use that. I'll just take that son of a bitch off. I don't even use it anyway. So it takes so much juice to heat these up and solder them up that by the time you put the connector on, forget about it. You got plenty. So it'll tin itself right to the connector. So we're going to go ahead, heat that up, put solder on it, heats up faster, and then we're going to solder through. Bam. Okay. I'm going to do the next one closer so you can actually see what the fuck I'm doing. Alright. It's not a soldering tutorial, but what we do is we hold up from the back side like this. Okay. And then we put a little bit of solder on the edge. Let it heat up, and then drag the solder over it. Bam, perfect. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it this way. People will bitch, you're not doing it right. Okay, so here's this. I have soldered on little connectors to hold me up. see if I can get this in shot. You have to do this left-handed, I guess. I am not left-handed. So that's all right. We're gonna heat this up. So put a little bit of solder in there. Does not have to be full, just has to be tinned. Okay. Bam, just like that. Now, negative side goes on the round. Heat through the wire first. The wire has more mass than the connector. Trust me, it'll work. Same thing here. Bam, it'll work. Okay. Now, I did overreach my bounds there. I heated up and I melted that. That's okay, because we're going to cover it with heat shrink anyway. We don't give a shit. So, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to measure-ish out of the back of the bird. So let's give it about that much. Okay. You like how exact I am? That's pretty fucking cool. I don't care who you are. We're going to do the same concept. We're going to tin those real quick. But before we do that, before we do that, we're going to put some solder on there, or some heat shrink. Let me grab a stick. Now, we don't want that. Let's see, will this work? Yes. Now, this heat shrink is not big enough to go around that XT60, not by a long shot. Let's see if we got some bigger stuff. Ha! Figures. I'm out. So, we're going to see if we can make this work. So what we're going to do, take a razor knife, we're going to cut it about here. Bam. We're going to take a needle nose pliers, which is all fucked up from hydro dipping. I need to buy new needle nose pliers, that's for sure. That one's not too bad. All right, we're going to stretch the shit out of this. We're going to put it over to needle nose pliers. We're going to stretch it. Okay. We're going to slide it over the XT60. When you say, oh, I don't have enough heat shrink, or the right size heat shrink, I'm sure you do. Stretch it out. And it will go back to its size. Bam. Okay. Makes it look just a little bit better, a little bit nicer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tin these up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to lay, once these are tinned up, you're going to lay them over like this, heat through the wire. You're going to set the soldering iron on the wire, and then it'll melt through. Once it melts and joins into there, you're good. The reason you do that is you don't want to burn the pad off the board, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Bam, be right back. All right, when we're back, so here's what we got. Went ahead, soldered that in. Positive side goes where your ammeter clutch is, and then negative side in there. Very, very nice. Give it a twist if you want to. Doesn't matter. When it's nice and hot, it'll kind of stay that way. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop in the camera. This is really difficult, so we're going to do, we already twisted our camera wires up. We're going to plug it in, and we're just going to stuff it in here. Now, this is really cool how this canopy works. I fly with a really steep angle, so I'm going to put it right there, and that's it. It stays. It's freaking badass. Now, I do, believe it or not, fly with an angle about there. Okay? That's just how I fly. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this VTX under here. If you have noise issues, or you fire up and it gets all squirrely looking, or you move the ESC, stick it on the bottom side of the canopy, whatever, you may get a noise issue from this. I usually don't. But it's possible. So what I do is I take a piece of double-sided tape, I cut it like this, I fold it in half like that, then I cut it to size, about like that, then I peel it. I always use a double layer of tape. on a VTX, no matter where I put it, because, and on an F4 flight controller, you could actually probably stick it on the flight controller as long as it's not on the actual processor, because you don't want to overheat and blow shit up, which I've been known to do as well. So we've got a nice little lip right here. Let's stick that in. Put it in like that. Doesn't have to be a ton. Okay. Just like that. Nice and hidden. It should be okay, just like that. Now, I fucked up and I did not buy receivers. I've got these weird little things I bought off Banggood. These are Taranis and they're only like $6, but they're exceptionally little. And I don't know if the range is going to be worth a shit or not. FR Sky 8-channel, and what you've got to do is you've got to solder that little S-bus dude right there, or else it won't work right. So we got to put some wires on here. So basically you've got the ground here, voltage here, and then your S-bus out is right here. So I got to put 3 wires on here plus solder that up, and we're going to stuff this in probably right there. Now, these are Park Flyer receivers, very, very tiny. You're not going to get the fucking range that you guys are used to using like an XM Plus. However, I have a booster in my transmitter, so I should be able to get pretty decent range out of it. I don't know. It's going to be kind of a test. I bought a bunch a while back just to say, fuck it, let's see what happens. But I have not yet fucked it or saw what happened. So we're going to put one of these in just because I'm low on XM Pluses. So let me go ahead and wire this up real quick. We'll pop it in, and then, you know what? Bam, we're pretty much done. And we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So, be right back. All right, busted. Hang on. So here's what we did. Very simple. I'll put a link to these. You guys can try them, but I guarantee you that the range is not the same as an XM Plus. It might be okay. I run a booster of mine, so it'll probably run my transmitter, but whatever. S-bus signal, VCC, which is 5 volts and ground. And then we're going to wire that guy into, let's see, where the hell was that damn thing? RC. So there's an RC, which is your S-bus in right there. And then you've got 5 volts and ground. So we're going to go ahead and solder that in. Always try to solder with the way your wires are going to be going. I don't want to solder this way because we'll have to bend them over. We're going to solder going this way so we don't have to bend anything over. Then we're going to pop an antenna on here. We're going to, then I'll be right back. We'll test this for any direct shorts. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the antenna later. It's not diversity either, which kind of sucks. But we'll put some props on it, get the final weight, and we're done. Bam, be right back. All right, we went and soldered that up. Now, basically all I did, the nice thing about these little guys is the fact that they are so tiny, I just double-sided taped it to the back of the camera. For the time being, I don't know what I'm going to do with this antenna. I'm just going to stick it through a hole in the canopy. I'll worry about that later. Not a big deal. I got a long way to go set up and whatever, but that'll keep it from getting chopped up. And then we're going to go ahead. We've got the front of the flight controller bolted down. We're going to push these down now. Wow, this is working out really well. It's going to be a bad fucking bird right here. Okay. And then my nuts. Where's my nuts? Shit. See, that's the problem with me. I lose shit. Them ain't nuts. Okay, you guys see it pointed out. It's a little thing full of frickin' nuts. Ugh. See, a professional person would edit this out, but I'm not gonna. Ah, fuck me. I'm not gonna edit it out, but I am gonna kill it till I find them. Be right back. You can tell it's Friday. All right, I found a couple. Here we go. So, I'm gonna go ahead and thread these down. Now, whenever you have, here's a tip. Whenever you've got a little bit of thread coming out, you see how these nylon nuts, it's flat on one side and concave on the other side. Use the flat side when you have a narrow width of thread. Trust me. Yeah, it's going to have to be compressed a little bit more. There we go. Good deal. This came together really nice for being a canopy that's... The thing that's cool about this canopy is theoretically, you can use it on any bird that has a 30 by 30 flight controller mount. All right, where's my socket? I got a socket. Come on. Oh, well, we'll just use our fingers. It's all right. Okay. Bam. Look at that. Nothing but a peanut. We're just going to leave the antenna hanging out. I will not leave it that way forever. We'll pull off an antenna off an existing bird because I haven't made one yet for this one. It's okay. I got tons of these. Far View Pagoda. Best antenna made. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. So, big shout out to my brother over at Far View. All right. Perfect. Okay. Now, we're going to slap some props on here. We're going to get a final weight. Oh, we got to check for shorts. So, prostate check. Bam. Just like that. Put it on continuity. Should have done this off camera. I'm going to look like an asshole. Perfect. It should beep once. That's a capacitance beep, if you will. Here, if you don't believe me, we'll plug it into a 3S and see what happens. Firm. Perfect. Okay, so let me slap some props on here. We'll get an all-up weight, and then she's going to be done. Look at that. That's a bad bird, son. Be right back. Oh, we're done. Okay, aside from this little yip-de-doo sticking out, got some props on there, not bolted down tight because I still have to do the Betaflight. And you know what? I'm actually going to put Betaflight on this because I haven't used Betaflight in a while, and I want to see... We're going to get the antenna out of the main power here. I want to see what changes have been made with Betaflight because I haven't used it in a while, and that's what we're going to do. So, let's see on the scale that tells no lies what this bitch weighs. This is going to be a fast fucking bird. Look at that tilt. Bam! It's going to be like that. Here we go. 288. Poof! Nice. Everything but the battery strap. I do need to cut these off yet. I will do that in the final. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to use a Dremel tool with, yeah, a Dremel tool with a saber bit, probably. Not a saber bit. What do you call these things? Disc. Just do that. Whack, 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 whack. Cut it off. No big deal. Or you can leave them there. Who gives a shit? But anyhow, a little bit of less weight. So there you go. There's the Limey head. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Turned out really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep shiny side up. We will do a pop test at least, or a flight test tomorrow or Sunday. I got a family thing tomorrow. But we will make sure everything's copacetic and flies well. And yeah, she's going to be bad to the bone. So anyway, keep shiny side up, kids. God bless. Take care. Bye.